I am shook. I am... I can't believe it. I mean, I can believe it. It's just, wow. It's just, wow. Man, last 4 days, I was at PAX West. It was super cool. It was my first PAX since moving up here. Really amazing. And I'm like, boy, I got a lot of news to catch up on when I get back to work on Tuesday. And you know, I'm thinking Nintendo news. Even just today, Mario and Luigi got a new trailer. I got all the Zelda timeline, all this stuff to catch up on. And yet Concord, wow. This saga never ceases to unfold. We just keep getting new chapters of this fantastical epic that is Concord. Okay, so we knew the game was doing very poorly. I did a video on that. We knew it was doing really, like, poorly in a way that is rare. Maybe even unique, you know. Lots of big projects have flopped over the years, but this might be one that's special, you know? I really need to look at some other examples and see, but it seems special, and it seemed obvious that the game was gonna have to go free to play, because the launch, it was a failure, just a failure of the highest magnitude. It was obvious that they weren't gonna make any money selling this game, so they were gonna have to make it like free to play. And I knew that would happen eventually, but it seems that this failure was so bad, analysts are guessing that the game might have sold as little as 25,000 copies. I was gonna do a whole video on that alone. You're getting a freebie now. We're throwing this one in there. 25,000 is their guess. And in case you don't follow sales data, it's like you take failure, the amount that would mean a failure, and then like go so much further down, go another step, and then go another, and then another, and then like maybe 2 or 3 more. That's how much of a failure this is. We have seen big budget games sell millions of copies and still be considered disappointments from their publishers. Selling in the hundreds of thousands, not even cracking the millions. That itself is like, whoa, what happened? If this is a big AAA game from a big publisher, that's bad. That's really bad. 25,000. Okay, so that's there. So now you get it. We all get it. Concord is just an absolute dismal failure, and it seems so much so that Sony's not like. They're like, we're not going to wait on this. Honestly, they're making the right decision. This is so bad. They're like, we're just spending money keeping these servers running by like selling this game to people at all. This is only doing damage to us. This is not even worth pursuing anymore, at least not at the moment. So instead of like waiting a while and then eventually making the game free to play, they are removing it entirely. They have already ceased to sell it. You cannot buy it anymore. They will be refunding all people who bought it digitally, and I don't know like exactly how it's going to work, but they're going to be refunding people who bought it physically as well. And that's got to be a nightmare, working with all of the retailers and working with the customers and trying to set up a way for them to be able to return these opened physical goods and offer refunds. Like, nobody's happy with Sony right now. Like that's a really big thing, and yet they are doing it. They're taking it offline. It's going offline in a couple days on the 6th. You can't buy it anymore. Everyone's getting a refund. They're just like, whoa. They're just like, hold the phone. Let's pretend like we did not launch this. This is not a product that you can buy and play anymore. Hold the phone. Now, that's not to say that they're just throwing it in the trash and moving on. I do think that they are going to rework the game and, probably make it free to play. I mean, what they could possibly do to the game to make it more appealing, that I don't know if there's anything they could do. I really don't know if there is. it's just an unappealing game, you know? And as I've said a million times before, I'm sure the game itself is fine. I'm sure it plays fine. Maybe it's even good. There's plenty of people who are like, you know, it's really not a bad game if you just play it. Like, of course it's not. It's just that there's a million billion fine games out there. There's a million billion options, most of them free. So, like, it does nothing to stand apart whatsoever. There's just no reason to play it. And, you know, as many people have pointed out, we haven't really talked about it that much, but, like, the characters are just pretty unappealing. They're just, I don't know, they're not designed very well. They don't really stand out. They're just kind of bland, samey, sci-fi, blah kind of designs. It just, there's nothing about the game that stands out. So, I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Completely redesign every character? Even that, like, what's that gonna do? This game is already seen as a failure. To me, I don't know if there's anything they can do for the game other than making it free to play. But even that, though, we've talked about that. Even if they were just able to magically make it free to play today, it's not going to change it. It's not going to change what we think about this game. So then, okay, they'll make it free to play and make the characters look better or something. Like, there's nothing they can do. This is a dead product. They're probably going to try. Kind of because, like, they kind of have to. They kind of have to. It's kind of bad for your reputation to, like, put, just like as a publisher / developer, to put all of these resources into a game and release it and nobody likes it, and then you just remove it from sale and just that's it forever. You're done. You throw it away, you flush it. You bury it somewhere and you never talk about it again. That's almost like, it's like too embarrassing. So it's kind of like almost, is it just to save face? Or is it just like to say that you did everything you could to the investors so they don't get too angry at you? You have to do something. They have to at least try to make back a tiny little just shred of those resources that you spent on it. Maybe if they can spend a little bit more money to make it like free to play and then make back just a pinch, a hair. I really don't know. The game is doomed. We can all see it. We can all see that it's doomed. It's just, I don't know. It's, again, they did the right thing. You know, like the writing's on the wall. We could see how this was going. It was the right decision to just pull the game. Whatever maybe they don't even know what they're going to do. They might just be like, we don't know. All we know is we can't sell it anymore. And we can't run it anymore. It's all just about like damage control now. It's good that they did this, but it is just another, it's still shocking in its own way. I don't know. Maybe I should have expected it. And yet it's just crazy. I just feel like I've never seen a failure this dramatic, you know? And it's nuts. And then of course, you know, PlayStation, they did their little blog post. While many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we'd intended. Understatement of the century. They want to explore options, including those that will better reach our players. And at this point, we can only guess when we will even hear about Concord again. I'm almost a little sad. This might be the last that we hear of it for a while. This might be the end of Act 1 for Concord. Will it come back as a free-to-play game this year? In a few months? Or sometime next year? Again, I don't know how long it takes this stuff to happen, how long it takes to rework a game like this, what they might want to do to the game. Because, you know, there is an option here. There is an option to try really, really hard and spend a ton of money reworking this game. They could. That is, if they don't want to cut their losses, you know, they feel like it's kind of the sunk cost issue. That thing where you've got a car and it's on its last legs and it keeps breaking and you keep putting money into it. And you're like, well, I've already spent thousands fixing this thing. I better keep fixing it. Because otherwise it feels like I've wasted all that money. But that's a sunk cost fallacy. Now you're just putting money into something that's just going to keep losing you money, and it's all just going to be even more waste, and it's better to just cut your losses and buy a new car. Is that what Sony's going to do? Or are they going to be like, nah, we spent so much money on this and so much time that we're going to go all out on this. We're going to completely redesign the game. We're going to redesign all the characters for starters. We're going to, I don't know, maybe try to come up with some other hook, some other gameplay hook, some sort of unique mode that somehow nobody across all of these countless multiplayer games has ever really thought of before. Wow, that's really unique. Wow, that's cool. What an angle. That's the hook that this game needed. And even if we imagine for a moment that that's possible, that it's plausible that they might be able to do that, even if they could, is that worth how much money that's gonna take? Because that would take tons of money. You can't, game development ain't simple. You want to dramatically rework a game, introduce some brand new element, that's so much work. They're cracking the whole thing open, and they're retooling the whole thing. They're rebalancing the whole thing. That's like almost making the game again, when that money could be used on something else. Anything else. So that's technically a possibility. Or are they just gonna... another option is to just stop, is to just not. And again, it wouldn't look good for their reputation to just quietly just never talk about Concord again. Like, maybe if anyone asks, they'd be like, oh, we're still tinkering away at it. And then like years go by and nothing happens. And then like eventually they say they've canceled it. Is that a little less embarrassing? Just like pretend like it's not that much of a failure. Pretend like you're gonna like retool it, and then like, well, we considered our options, and now we've decided to just sunset the game and its development. I don't know. Honestly, I expect it to just come back free to play sometime next year. Probably not that different, but they're just kind of giving it a shot just to see if anybody comes back, if anybody gives it a try, and then if that doesn't work, then they can say, okay, we tried, and then move on. But I don't know. But, wow. That's all I got. Oh, no, actually, this is funny. Heroic Teddy, good buddy and stream moderator of mine, he actually broke the news to me. I was at an appointment, and he texted me saying Concord going offline already is sending me, and I was also sent there in that doctor's office, and he pointed out it is funny that in the Mario and Luigi trailer, welcome to Concordia. Apparently that's the name of the land, the area that Brothership takes place in, and that's a little bit funny that happened on the same day. Oh, wonders never cease.